We have more news about the coming season of Demon Slayer, and we got it in the form of a movie called To the Hashira Training. You may have seen the trailer or some news about it recently. Like most anime movies, it's released in Japan first and later in the West. In my last video about Season 4, I proposed that a movie would be the best solution to the pacing problem we have for the next season. I go into more detail as to why, along with some other ways Season 4 might pan out in that video. So go check that out if you want to know why this is an issue. Like I said, I think a movie would be a great solution to the problem. So with this movie, that means there are no more problems, right? Well, not quite. It's good to be excited for something new, but I want to keep everyone's expectations realistic. The movie unfortunately does not solve the problem, and depending on how you feel about fillers, what I say next could be a good or a bad thing. So let's start off with what we do know about the movie. I wanted the Hashira Training arc to get the Mugen Train treatment, a standalone movie that covers the entirety of the arc. However, that's not the case here. The new movie is more like the one we got last year, To the Swordsmith Village. You may or may not remember it because the naming is a little confusing and it wasn't as popular as Mugen Train. But the movie is essentially the last 2 episodes from the previous arc and 1 episode of the next arc. So in our case, we would get episodes 10 and 11 of the Swordsmith Village arc and episode 1 of the Hashira Training arc. And episode 1 will be double length, which is about 45 minutes. I just want to make it clear again that this movie is more like a sneak peek for the next season. I've seen some reviews and threads online complaining about the last movie because they thought it was an original film. And then they're disappointed that it's basically a recap. And that's fine because not everyone will go and find information about the movie in case there are spoilers or some other reason. And I know some people will also be disappointed to learn that this isn't a standalone film, but the bright side is we get to see episode 1 early. Speaking of standalone movies, here's a fun fact about the Mugen Train movie. It was the highest grossing film internationally in 2020, breaking multiple records and receiving a handful of awards. Alright, back on topic. Here's the other thing about the movie. The first episode being double length doesn't help the pacing situation at all. The episode covers 5 chapters of the 9 in the arc. That means 1 episode is already half the length of the arc. So how do I know this? Well, the movie is technically out, so the information is out there, but looking at the previous season, we see the same thing. The first episode of season 3, which was also double length, covered a little over 4 chapters. Even if we're generous and say the average episode in season 4 covers 2 chapters, that leaves us with 2 more episodes of the Hashira Training arc. So there you have it, season 4 will only be 3 episodes. Obviously, that's not going to happen, so here's my prediction. I proposed 2 solutions in my last video. A, we get filler episodes, or B, they go straight into the next arc. I'm not even going to consider option C, which is stretching 9 chapters into a full season. That wouldn't be a pacing problem, that'd be a pacing nightmare. And I think option A is more likely going to happen. The studio has been doing a lot of promotion on season 4 by calling it the Hashira Training arc. It doesn't seem likely that they would just move on to the next arc after just 3 episodes while labeling the season like that. It just doesn't make sense to me. Even the Mugen Train arc, which is similar in length, got 8 episodes in season 2. Which leads me to the idea of fillers. And that's not necessarily a bad thing though. Hashira Training plus fillers will take up at least 6 episodes of the season if they're planning to move on to the next arc halfway through. I'm also fine with the idea of getting 12 episodes of Hashira Training plus fillers. There are a lot of stories from the light novels and fanbooks waiting to be animated, and all of those are canon. Highlighting the backstories and relationships between characters has been something the series lacks from time to time. For example, the anime added a filler episode at the beginning of season 2 to show more of Rengoku. It gave viewers a better idea of what kind of person he is. Because as sad as his death was, there are people out there who didn't really care. It's an unpopular opinion, so not many people say it out loud, otherwise the internet will destroy them. And just so I don't get destroyed on the internet, I cried when I watched the Mugen Train movie. And here's the honest truth. The only other time we've seen Rengoku was during the Hashira meeting where he wanted Tanjiro and Nezuko dead. And that doesn't really tell us what kind of person he actually is. If first impressions are anything to go by, that would just make him seem more like a jerk and less reason to feel sad when he died. The same go for the other Hashira. I remember watching that part and thinking, man, these guys are assholes, at least hear him out first. So I'm glad that anime added the original episode. That just goes to show that fillers aren't always a bad thing. Especially since this arc leads to the final showdown, it's good to create that emotional connection so there's more at stake. With all that being said, if the studio really wants to, nothing can stop them from moving on to the next arc after 3 episodes. Do I agree with that happening? Obviously not. You've heard my opinion on the matter, so I'm curious what you guys think about the coming season. The 3-episode arc, potential fillers, or general thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, Wong Diggity out.